The movie opens with a mother in agony, who turns out to be giving birth in her bed. After some time, the child is successfully born into the world. Instead of happiness, the mother attempts to cut the umbilical cord with scissors, but she cannot bring herself to do it and decides to care for her baby. The scene shifts to a young woman named Carrie White, who is the baby now grown up. She is a quiet and shy individual. During a physical education class, Carrie remains still when a ball approaches her. The teacher asks her to participate in a game, but accidentally, the ball hits a classmate's head, causing everyone to laugh. While cleaning herself, Carrie is shocked to see blood dripping from her body, which makes her scream hysterically for help. Unaware that she is experiencing her first menstruation, instead of helping her, her classmates harass her by throwing sanitary pads at her. One of them, named Chris, records the incident. The teacher arrives to help Carrie and tries to explain what is happening, but suddenly Carrie's scream causes a shockwave. The teacher slaps and calms her down. Carrie is taken to the office for questioning about the incident. When asked who is responsible, Carrie is unable to admit that it was Chris and her friends doing. Seeing the problem escalating, the male teacher intends to call Carrie's mother, which terrifies Carrie. Eventually, Carrie is picked up by her mother. Meanwhile, Chris shows the recorded video to her boyfriend, Billy. On the way home, Carrie apologizes for causing trouble. She wonders why her mother never told her about menstruation. Her mother, angry and dismissive, ignores her. A child mocks Carrie, calling her crazy, and a supernatural event occurs. Confused, the child runs away in fear. Carrie sees her mother hitting her head and asks her to stop. Her mother then tells her that she has become a teenage woman, but continues to say strange things about sin within Carrie and hits her head until she falls. Carrie insists she is not sinful. It is her mother who is sinful. Carrie is then forced to pray in a closet. The story continues with Sue feeling guilty about what happened to Carrie. On the other hand, Chris and her friends upload the video of Carrie to the internet. The next day, during a sports lesson, the teacher announces a prestigious event for the students, which is a dance party soon to be held. The teacher subtly mocks Chris and the incident that befell Carrie. As a result of someone uploading the video, all the students are punished by running laps around the field, and anyone who stops will be banned from attending the dance party. An infuriated Chris curses at her teacher, leading to her being banned from the prom. Unwilling to accept this, Chris seeks support from her friends, but ultimately faces disappointment as they choose to serve their detention. Meanwhile, Carrie, who has just arrived at school, sees the cursing writings of her classmates, which angers her. She smiles, realizing she can control the shards of glass with her mind. Carrie then visits the library to gather information about telekinesis. In class, the teacher asks Carrie to read a poem aloud, and while her classmates giggle, except Sue and Tommy listen intently. After a sharp comment from the teacher, Tommy responds nonchalantly, avoiding punishment with his quick wit. Chris brings her father to the school, hoping he can get her into the prom. But the teacher suspects Chris is responsible for spreading the video of Carrie. Chris is asked to hand over her phone to prove whether the video came from her or not. When her father insists, Chris refuses and leaves to meet her friends, blaming them for not feeling guilty about what happened to Carrie. At home, Carrie practices her telekinesis, her powers growing stronger. The noise attracts her mother, who enters with a knife, but Carrie pretends to be asleep. Sue, feeling guilty, asks Tommy to invite Carrie to the prom. Surprised, Tommy is initially hesitant, but Sue persuades him. At school, Tommy approaches Carrie and invites her to the prom. But Carrie refused because she couldn't stand the people around her. Carrie, who is crying, is comforted again by her teacher. Carrie is worried that people will make fun of her again. But the teacher told Carrie to keep positive and to believe in herself. The worried teacher reminds Sue and Tommy not to make fun of Carrie in public. Eventually, Tommy goes back to see Carrie and invites her to the dance. Because she's worried about being caught by her mother, Carrie immediately accepts it. From a distance, Chris watches Carrie choosing a dress for the prom. Carrie returns home late to find her mother waiting, and she confesses she will attend the prom. Her mother disapproves, fearing Tommy's intentions, leading to a heated argument. Shocked by her daughter's abilities, her mother falls silent, now convinced Carrie is a witch. On the other hand, Chris and friends visit a pig farm, where one of the boys is assigned to kill a pig, but due to hesitation, Billy ends up doing it. As the prom preparations near completion, but Sue suddenly feels sick. On the night of the prom, Chris and her boyfriend prepare a surprise in the dance hall. Meanwhile, Carrie sews her prom dress, anticipating the awaited day. All the students, including Carrie, prepare for the prom to the best of their abilities. Despite this, Carrie's mother still tries to persuade her not to go. Carrie refuses, which leads to her mother hurting herself in frustration. Tommy arrives at Carrie's house, and despite her mother attempts to hold Carrie back, Carrie silences her mother. Before leaving, Carrie bids farewell to her mother. Tommy is captivated by Carrie's beauty. The prom atmosphere is luxurious and enjoyable, with everyone happily chatting. The teacher also compliments Carrie's beauty. On one occasion, Tommy takes the opportunity to update his girlfriend. Tommy then asks Carrie to dance. This of course makes Carrie happy from all the misery she has experienced. Carrie's mother, who is at home, is also trying hard to open the door that Carrie has locked. As the prom king and queen election takes place, Chris and her boyfriend Billy secretly prepare their cruel prank. Surprisingly, Carrie and Tommy's names are listed on the ballot, and the votes are collected. Elsewhere, Chris signals to Sue about the impending disaster for Carrie. The voting turns out to be rigged by the committee. Shortly after, Sue arrived at the dance party. As the results are announced, Tommy and Carrie win the prom king and queen titles. Carrie is in disbelief as everyone celebrates. Sue, sensing something is wrong, tries to stop them but is caught by a teacher and expelled from the prom. Chris executes her plan, and blood from a hidden bucket drenches Carrie and Tommy. The video of Carrie's earlier humiliation is played, and after the pranksters flee, the bucket falls, hitting Tommy and knocking him out. This triggers Carrie's rage, and she unleashes her telekinetic powers. The doors slam shut, and the prom descends into chaos as Carrie's powers spiral out of control. Some students are pressed to the floor, trampled, or pinned. The prom turns into a fiery disaster, with those who hurt Carrie meeting a tragic end. However, only the teacher is spared from the electric shock. Carrie's anger allows her to levitate out of the room. Chris and Billy manage to escape, but Carrie nearly catches them. With her newfound powers, Billy's car is stopped, and they turn around. But when Chris urges Billy to run over Carrie, their attempt ends tragically as the car crashes into a gas station, resulting in their demise. After the catastrophic events at the prom, Carrie returns home covered in blood and searches for her mother, who is nowhere to be found. Carrie decides to clean herself while mourning the night's traumatic events. After her bath, she finds her mother and they share a tight embrace and pray together. However, in a shocking turn, her mother stabs Carrie in the back. In self-defense, Carrie uses her telekinetic powers to throw her mother, causing her to fall down the stairs. In a psychotic rage, her mother attempts to kill Carrie, but they struggle until Carrie ultimately uses her powers to stop her mother, who dies in her arms. Sue then arrives to offer help to Carrie, but she refuses and tells Sue to leave. Suddenly, stones begin to rain down on the house. Despite Sue's intentions to help, Carrie reveals that Sue is pregnant with Tommy's child, a girl, and telekinetically forces her out of the house. The house continues to be bombarded with stones until it collapses and vanishes into the ground. Later, Sue visits Carrie's grave, but she experiences sudden contractions and is rushed to the hospital. During childbirth, Sue senses something is wrong. A handful of blood emerges from her stomach. Sue is so shocked that the scene changes and it turns out that Sue is dreaming, and her mother continues to calm her down. The movie ends. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, because by subscribing you have supported me to make better videos. See you in the next video.